All right. Welcome to Savanna Techie. My name is Rafael Ndwiga, and I'll be your host for this tutorial. Now, if you're new to the channel, uh, give me a support by hitting the subscribe button and liking this video, and also sharing it with your peers, anyone who think can be able to the content on the channel can be able to change or improve their lives. All right. Now let's get to it. Now, today's video is about how to become a software engineering and specifically mastering programming. Okay. In the previous video, we talked about how to be a programmer and what was really and what is required for you to become a programmer. Okay. It is about understanding why you want to start programming, deciding what field you want to go to, choosing a language, programming language, 2 or 3, practicing, and even starting building a portfolio of work. Okay, so that sounded all good, and this is okay. Okay, this is what you need to do. Okay, but you have never written a single line of code. Right now, I'm pretty sure you cannot write code if your life depended on it. Okay, and that's okay. That's really okay. You are good at doing something else, and programming is not easy. It is difficult. Right now, I'm probably sure you have gone through. You have already selected a language that you want to go. Let's say, for example, you have picked C# or you have picked C. You have bought a couple of C books, and you are reading them, and all that is happening is that immediately you read a sentence or a line, immediately it just leaves your brain. So it just passes through. You're not understanding, you're not getting it. And you might be beating yourself and saying, this stuff is hard, this stuff is difficult. Why can't I seem to understand whatever I'm learning? And I really need it I really need it for me to be a software engineer, for me to be a good programmer, for me to be a game designer, for me to be a web developer. Okay, and as you are reading through various posts on the internet, they'll say the same thing: pick a language, go to pick a school that they teach you a language from A to Z, from being a noob to being an expert. And what most people fail to mention is that learning is a process. What do I mean? To learn, you have to start from somewhere, and for your brain to understand new concepts, it must be enticed. Okay, it must be enticed for it to pick up the new content, and that's why like my go-to books whenever I want to learn something new, I usually prefer starting with headfast books. So for example, if I just did a quick headfast, okay, let's just pick the first one here. Okay, they really have interesting books whereby it doesn't seem as if you are learning because the book have emojis, they have graphics and whatnot, but really what happens is that all the graphics and all the way they have placed uh, the material, the learning, it makes it very easy for you to pick up new concepts. Okay, now borrowing on that, the other way that I have found being very effective on learning or mastering a new language, especially for a beginner who you have never touched any language, is building a gaming. So I'm wondering, okay, what do you mean? What do you mean? Eh? So now, uh, let's get back. Let's go to basics. A computer programmer, or sometimes referred as a software developer or a software engineer, a programmer, or recently a coder, is a person who creates computer software. Okay, so a software engineer designs and create computer systems and applications to solve real world problems. And to create this particular, so there is the element of designing and creating. So what you need to do, so that means the first thing you need to learn, even before you touch a single line of code, is the element of designing. Okay, so you have to get the element of being able to design and being able to solve a problem. And the best, one of a really good way I've come to discover is start start learning how start learning how to program by building games using MIT Scratch. So Scratch is a free programming language and also an online community where you create your own interactive stories, games, and animations. Now, the good thing about Scratch is that it teaches you how to actually write a software without writing a software, basically by moving blocks. So if you open this particular link, I will share this resource, and at the I will share this resource the video description. Okay, so when you go to Scratch, scratch.mit.edu, it tells you about learn how to make a project in Scratch, try out starter, connect with others. You just see it's a bunch of games, and when you go to about to scratch about page, okay, they'll tell you that is the world largest coding community for children and coding language with simple visuals for young people to create digital stories. Well, it's meant for kids. And one thing I know, as I was growing up, is that I learned how to speak when I was young, when I was a kid. So I learned how to write, I learned how to speak, I learned how to construct sentences as a kid. So logically, it means that if there is a computer, if there's a computer program, if uh, if I want to learn how to write computer software, okay, and I've never really interacted with a laptop apart from watching movies or playing games, and I really want to start programming, then I have to go back to the basics. So, and in this case, you can't really go back to kindergarten, okay, but you can be able to start with the tools that are meant to help a child be able to learn to program. So there are different kinds of people. There are people who they'll find it very easy to go straight to books such as headfirst programming on any language that they're choosing, and maybe there's you who really is finding it challenging to even grasp this particular book. So how do we start? So we start from the basics, okay, and my recommendation is start with this. Go to Scratch, create an account, look at a couple of tutorials and to get you started. Now, like for example, there's one of I have a project that I did a little bit, I think um, a month or so ago, from the recording of this tutorial, this video. And what I did, I was building a ping pong game. I missed playing ping pong. Okay, and my version of ping pong, you can actually, I will have this game on the description. Okay, so let me enlarge this. And to start off, just hit either this flag button or this flag button. And the whole essence is just to bounce the ball back on the brick. And you can see as the ball bounces, the score keeps on incrementing. And you can see that the current high score is of 18. And when it reaches a certain score, you will see that the background will change. Okay, so the background will change, and there's an element of game over. So what am I suggesting for you to start your programming journey by learning how to build games using Scratch? Okay, it's due to this. Now, if you come here and click here, see inside. Okay, it will take you to a panel that contains the code for controlling each and every element. And for example, if you pick C as a C programming language, each C program has what we call the main statement, and the main statement is where all the execution of your program will begin. Each program have one main statement. Same case when it comes to Scratch, you have this block, this particular first block. Okay, this one, when the flag is clicked, that's when the program start running. So, and each element in the game is pegged upon clicking of the flag button, okay, of this particular go key. So as you're building this, what's happening is that each of these elements in Scratch is an equivalent to a control structure. So in programming, we have what we call control structures. So it has what we call control structures. So for example, when it comes here to control, you have what we call wait, we have repeat, and repeat. This is almost an equivalent to a for loop, and then there's forever, while loops. Then there's also if statement, there's wait, and as you're building a simple game, you get to interact with this and see the effect that it has on what and on this particular object. This object on Scratch, they're called sprites. So as you're interacting with them, you get to start understanding the programming concept. What is a loop? What are variables? Because there are also variables here. Okay, so how do you set a variable? When for example, when this particular ball is moving, okay, you want to be able to track this particular ball. Okay, so what's the effect of that? How do you go about that? And you're able to, and also at the same time, we have what we call operators. So Scratch basically is like a full programming language for you can be able to learn, and it is fun when learning it. You're not fighting with compilers. You're not fighting with an IDE. You're not looking at a text editor and wondering what is happening. You're not getting all those particular gotcha, and you are really learning as you're having fun. And once you're through with building your first game, then you're able to iterate on that. Okay, so one of the things that I'm considering doing for this channel is to tackle C programming. Okay, and the way I will tackle it later on is whereby we'll start with building a game. Okay, taking one element, for example, the start button, okay, and actually walk through the equivalent that is there in C. Okay, so for example, it's forever, and then what's the equivalent for it in C, and we'll start doing that particular implementation, and you'll find that at the end of it, you'll not only have understood what the various control structures are, but you'll also have the concept or even what is involved towards game development. And before you know it, you will have mastered not only the language you want to learn, and this one is not only the language that will be showing you, but not only, but also the language that you want to learn. And as a bonus, you will have learned how to build games or animated stories using Scratch, and they're quite fun. I can guarantee I've played this ping pong game for quite a while, and I'm looking at adding more levels to it. And you can also be able to port this game to Android. Okay, so the game that you build is something that you can able to share with your peers. Say that they're learning how to program and decided to build a game well at it. So that's all about mastering programming. It's about looking at what works for you. Each person is an individual, and how you learn best is not the same way I myself will learn it. I'm good. Give me documentations. I'll be good with it. Give me videos. Also be good at it. And for me, the way I find best is by learning programming is by doing projects, teaching, the same thing that I'm learning, but I prefer doing projects. So because when I'm doing a project, I'm actually implementing whatever I'm learning, so I can actually seeing it work. So pick what works for you. I believe I've just given you another way to be able to begin your journey on how to be a software engineer. Until next time, have a good one.